Wandy Peralta came over in a trade from the Giants early on in 2021, and since then, he's been really, really good for the Yankees. A very interesting, not usage rate, just when he gets used in games. It's either like your the entire team's life is on the line and Wandy's cleaning you out of a mess. Um, or at times when he's come into games that don't really matter, he gets shelled. I think I saw online a few places. I think Katie Sharp had brought up his high leverage statistics, and he has like a 5 ERA against middle leverage or middle to low leverage. But when he's in high leverage, like that low twos ERA. Last year overall, he had a 2.72 ERA, a FIP of 2.86 in 56.1 innings. He had a left on base percentage of 75% the last 2 years. Um, and last year, what was a key percentage? His home run to fly ball ratio, 4.3%. So he's induced a lot of weak contact, not only on the ground, which he's typically done with his sinker and that kind of running two seam sinker action, but also getting that weak contact in the air, which has been really important, I think, for his ascendancy into like a solid seventh inning, sixth inning spot.
Crazy thing about Wandy, I mean, he's known for his changeup, which is fantastic. That's how he's able to get so many righties out because he's not necessarily like, despite being a lefty, he's not a lefty specialist by any means. That righty change or that lefty changeup that he throws that runs away from righties completely neutralizes most righty batters, and he can throw it back to back times. But beyond that, he also has two other elite pitches. His fastball sits between 96 to 97. That's a sneaky like fast velocity for someone like Wandy. You're not expecting him to have like crazy strikeout rates or anything like that, but he is pumping 96, 97. And then his slider is also really fucking good. People kind of forget about that. He just doesn't need to throw it as much because his changeup is so damn good. And the thing about it is he can control and command all three of those pitches at any given time. This dude is like fantastic. And I'd say if someone put a gun to my head and asked me who should right now, who do you have the most confidence being the closer? Like if you had to select a closer at this very moment, I would say Wandy. I trust him the most in the ninth inning more than anyone. The only reason that he's not going to be there is because he's so dynamic and so versatile where you can use him in any given high leverage position. So maybe the closing situation might be in the sixth or seventh inning rather than the ninth inning. So I think that he just provides so much value for the Yankees at this point that and on top of that, he's also really good at holding runners, which is going to really be beneficial when it comes to having your selective pitch, like throwovers to first base or like step offs from the mound or anything like that. I think he's going to control the run game better than anyone else. So he provides so much invaluable little nuances that the Yankees like. They honestly need him more than anyone at this point.
Yeah, we saw him strike out a batter in 20 seconds in spring training. He gives a little bit of that funky approach. If you ever are at Yankees games and you're close enough to the dugout, if Wandy's in the dugout or he's injured or it's a key day after he's thrown and he's not going to throw, he like whistles from the dugout. He's super loud, like he'll be yelling in Spanish and making himself known. Wandy's the reason that fight started with Lindor and Stanton. I remember being at that game and being like, there's a lot of whistling coming from like the third base side. There was a bunch of Mets fans behind the dugout, and sure enough, you saw like the videos and the breakdowns and stuff. It was Wandy's like two-finger whistling just all throughout the clubhouse up and down. Uh, he's a lightning rod for this team. And we saw the proverbial gun to the head last year in the DS, like when the Yankees' life was on the line, all of our gut was like, all right, we want Wandy to come in, clean up the mess. And that's what he's done, and he's really delivered. I think this top four gives you a nice four deep of people who you think you can rely on. There's a lot of talent there. I think Wandy is the most comfortable, reliable arm. He's not going to be the best. He might give up a base runner here or there, like if you have, but it depends on the scenario. But you know, gun to the head, season on the line, Wandy Peralta. This is, I think, a consensus pick for the two of us.
He can throw 3 to 4 days in a row if you need him to, which is crazy. I mean, you don't see that out of a lot of guys, and he's just as effective every single day. I think that's where he's super underrated in that sense. And also, like, losing Zach Britton, Britton hasn't been a factor for a whole year at this point, but I think Wandy effectively replaces Britton in being that effective lefty, like, late inning reliever.